Welcome to my thoughts on Helstrom Season 1, Episode 6, Leviathan. The episode is rated TVMA, so this video B. There will be spoilers for everything MCU and adjacent, leading up to and including when this episode first premiered, but not for anything after it. And, yeah. Another episode I absolutely fucking loved. Right, so I really appreciated, Anna talking honestly with Victoria, and Victoria talking to both of her offspring, and, you know, being a mom. And, yeah, it was great to... I quite appreciate the stuff with Yen, finding out some of what it was like, and he seems back, but there's also a little bit left. This episode had some of the best action, if you'll allow me to be that shallow for a second, of the show so far, and I think that might... Yeah, very excited to see where, you know, so there's 4 episodes left. Excited to see what happens next. I think that does cover... Yes. So, scene by scene, yeah. We open on Keith, who... yeah. This show just will not stop traumatizing children with serial killer fathers. And God, it's so, you know, she trusted him. She's like, just tell me what happened. They think you did this, and, you know, we know he did. We find out, certainly, over the course of the episode, he did. And yeah, you know, like, God, it feels like fucking true crime. Just, you want to scream, please don't go close to him. Don't give him a chance to attack you, you know. But yeah, and the fucking shot, you know. So he that was also a nicely fucked up way of you know, that's part of what the show's about. Fucked up ways for, well, yeah, just fucked up shit happening, you know. And he goes in for a kiss and then bites her lips, drawing blood. Although, according to the book for The Postman Always Rings Twice, that's apparently really appealing. Yeah, didn't really understand why that... well, I mean, okay, there's rules for, like, indecency and shit, and I'm guessing that was what they were trying to get around. But yeah, that was Jesus Christ, just let them kiss like 2 normal human beings instead. Anyway, after that, he just walks out, gets in the car, and we see the kids watching from the window. Like, I mean, I'm glad he didn't also murder them, but it is genuinely, like, yeah, they're gonna be traumatized, you know, just, yeah. I think that does cover that open. I thought that it was a very effective misdirect. Until she said that wasn't Dad, I thought that was their father. So, yeah. Really nicely done on that. Because, like, so yeah, by the end of this episode, we still haven't seen the face of the father. Or no, I'm holding off until we've seen. But yeah, I think, does that pretty much get us to the yeah? So let's see. I think maybe the next scene was Anna talking to Yen. And I love the little... There's so many wonderful little things in the scene and in the episode. So he asks, didn't you bring any napkins? And she's like, well, look, who's back to, having, exquisite taste or something like that, And she calls him Rat King at one point, which sounds like a comic character. So maybe there is, Rat King, like you could see it, control rats with their mind or something. And anyway, yeah, I think that pretty well gets us to the, let's see. So we have, yes. So, she also makes the point, you left me, that he says something, and then as a retort, she points out, you left me a trail of bread, of dead rat corpses, from the dead bird cemetery, and yeah, and we have the thing about he knows stuff from her past. Sometimes she would cry in her sleep. Ugly cry. I know at least one character on The Bear who would say that she looked amazing. And, yeah, I mean, that's got to be something that the skull knows, because it was what? Yeah, I'm slightly. That's got to be it. I don't know how else he would know that. And yeah, the thing about you didn't always hate your mom, and she insists that she did, because it's just easier that way. If she hates her mom, then she doesn't have to really think about it, because a lot of bigots, when you really look at it, a lot of bigotry is basically they don't want to really think about this person or empathize with this individual or group. And if they just say, well, this person, if everyone in this group is just inherently awful, there's nothing they can do to become worthy, to become good, well, then you don't have to really think about them. I think that, right, and yeah, so he gets up and she's like, where do you think you're going? To a 5-star hotel. And, he wants some I don't know, wine. I'm an uncultured swine. I have no idea the fuck he said, but it sounded like something you drink. And yeah, she points out, you're not going anywhere. Dr. Hastings wants to keep you for observation, and so do I. Also the point about, well, what about your mom? She's in the building. Not everybody has an alive mom that they can go and spend time with. And Hastings also says, I don't want you to act like this, what was it? Like this, I don't want you to waste this time, time with her mother that she could be spending with her mother. I mean, yeah, and Derek is brought up, and she says, I left a message. You're good for at least you're good for 24 hours. So yeah, I guess she's gonna let him communicate with Derek, before the time is up or something. Yeah, I also don't know if by the end of this episode, if they're still keeping him for observation. Certainly would make sense. But yeah, she leaves him, and we also see that he's been scratching at, to the point where he's drawing blood, the bite marks. I feel like I've heard that that's also a thing that, let's see, is that an addict thing, or is it a mental health issue? I forget. So I think the next scene might be the blood facility, and yeah, Gabriella and Damon start to leave, and they do encounter one woman, and yeah, last rites, and yeah, they talk about all the pain that she was in. Back with Anna, we have the I think this, yeah, let's go with, yeah. So Anna goes to talk to Victoria, and again, just so many wonderful little things in the writing, the acting, the direction. I really, really love how Victoria is completely different from Kithara. I guess I should say Mother, because like by the end of this episode, I guess that's not Kithara who's back. Is it some demon that works for their father? Maybe I'm slightly unclear. But the yeah, let's see, yeah. So first Victoria uses small talk, and it was really fun with the thing of that's like the emoji of conversations. You're neither a child nor simple-minded, so don't use it. And wow, called out. Like, I don't use particularly many emojis, but damn. Like, it's a smiley or the thumbs up sometimes, but yeah, Anna has her distinct opinions, and because Victoria has been out of it for 20 years, she doesn't know what an emoji is. Which, crap, it's saying something. Okay, it seems like it's okay now. Hopefully it's not getting messed up. It's weird because it's been running smoothly until, anyway. Yes, so the I think was the I think, yeah, I really appreciated Anna really confronting Victoria, and Victoria, because to be clear, I don't agree with Anna that Victoria must have known, but because she confronts Victoria, that means that Victoria can explain, and yeah, she fell for an act. Sadly, there are some truly evil men out there, and many of them are really, really good at hiding it. Rather than trying to, get mental health care and get to a point where they no longer wish to enact evil. Right, and to be clear, when I say evil men, I mean men who have evil ideas and choose to carry them out rather than, try to fight or continue to fight. Some of them try and succumb, but yeah. And once this conversation gets to a point where it's, a lot, Anna changes the subject, altering the meaning of the conversation, talking about, it's so drab in here, we should do something. And I also quite like and then the next time we see them, they're outside, because she said, no, it's depressing to be in here. Very, very clever. And we saw her outside in I think the episode before this one also. Anyway, I think that might bring us to, let's see, we have the, I like when she came in and the backpack with the, it's for the keeper. Is the keeper a 6-year-old that's colorblind? Wow. And I was lost and found. Maybe he should have stayed lost. And I think, so yes, Gabriella drives, and they talk about the the horrors, and I like the thing you're calling it, the Hotel California experiment. You can check in, but you can never. You can check out, but you can never leave. I think is the fuck. I used to listen to that song. I should know the lyrics, but it's been a while. I think. Does that pretty well bring us to the? Let's see. The other. Yeah. So they they have a flat and they're already on the spare tire, so they get to the gas station. Obviously, I have more to say about that, but I think I will. Very, very cool when the possessed arrive at the and that is also such a cool idea. A possessed person breaks into the blood facility and frees all these possessed people. Really, really clever way to, now he has muscle. Because overall it's like 4 or 5. I guess not all of them were patients. Maybe I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, they get to the institution, and one of them recognizes Keith and almost presses the button but can't quite reach it as he's being beaten to death. Let's see. I think that might. Yeah, let's talk. So gas station. I thought they did a really good job. It was like, we don't know if we quite like the gas station attendant comes out and it's like, is he possessed? And by the end of the episode it seems like, oh, it was just slightly weird, quirky. People are like that. I think, but yeah, it turns out there are people there to hurt them, but he's not one of them. I think. Okay, so before I move on, I do just want to note. Okay, so going to be a Debbie Downer briefly here, but when Gabriella says every mother has an endless well of empathy for her kids, I do agree with her. Then she says, maybe you should have some for yourself. He keeps talking about how he betrayed her, and by the end of the episode, Victoria has said, you did the right thing. I agree that many mothers, I'd like to think the vast majority, but there are some mothers who do not feel for their children. But I appreciate it's difficult to fit in. The episode has a lot of complexity elsewhere. So I think that might bring us to... I guess I'll just briefly note. So, obviously it is horrible that Charlie Kirk was assassinated. And I've said many times on this channel, violence should only ever be the last resort. This was absolutely not a necessary act of violence. And I just wish that conservatives had waited until a suspect had been, found before they started, making declarative statements about who and why, especially because there's a bunch of slurs and bigotry in what they said, because they can't, it's a very black and white worldview that Republicans have. I don't think I want to name names, but at least one of the people who engage in this has a significant platform. A lot of people listen to them. So when they start saying, oh, it's definitely someone on the left, and it's like a trans person, like what? if you look at the numbers, the vast majority of shootings are not carried out by trans people or leftists. I'm not going to pretend like there's never been left-wing violence, but these days, when there is significant acts of violence, it tends to be conservative, white, cishet men. And what do you know? Now that we know the identity, yes, that appears to be exactly what he was. It is the Republican Party who are engaging in all this violent rhetoric. It is them who are against gun control and, in favor of, gun culture. And yeah, it's come forward, again, I don't think I want to name names, but the suspect, we know that he was exposed to guns at an early age, which the research is in. That makes someone more likely to not view it as the most serious thing in the world to use a gun on someone, which obviously it's a huge fucking deal. You shouldn't do it in the vast majority of situations. Yeah. And also, I don't think we should forget Charlie Kirk, did significant damage with all the propaganda. I am not celebrating his death. Yeah. And, if we want to go there, I've seen a lot of conservatives celebrate the deaths of minorities and sometimes just leftists, but they especially like to, when a black person is murdered, they'll celebrate the anniversary of the murder, for example. Now, with words, I'm not saying they throw a fucking parade, though. Sure, some of them would like to. Yes, I think that brings us back to the fucking show, for one thing. Let's see. Yeah, so let's talk some more gas station. Yeah. They did a really solid job on there's a thing about the coffee's not too bad, and at that point we're like, okay, this guy seems like he's not possessed. He's not acting like the people we've seen possessed on the show so far. And it's like, well, where's the cashier? Maybe the mechanic is the only one working. It feels weird. So they go in, and he's under the car, and then he slides out, and he's been stabbed in the fucking ear with what looks like a screwdriver. Like, Jesus fucking Christ. No wonder he can't hear Damon. And yeah, the guy's standing there, and he's like, and I was told you were powerful. And another is outside, grabs Gabriella, and yeah, just incredibly tense. So then we have Anna and Victoria in the garden. Outside. I don't know what the fuck it's called. Sorry, it's just sometimes people get up my ass about using the wrong words for shit, and it's like, if you know what I mean, I don't see the big fucking deal. So then we have the more of the conversation, and let's see, it's also, I appreciate it doubles in addition to really solid exploration of domestic abuse and the long-term effects, 20 years down the line. It also works as like building up. He's incredibly powerful. He's evil. He only shows what he wants you to see. All this shit, just yeah. And when they're outside, and we have the, God damn it, I'm struggling to recall the details, but just there was more really, really excellent exploration of it. And let's see. Yeah. I think... Shit, I just don't remember. Maybe it'll come to me later in the recording. Anyway, then we have the... Shit. God damn it. Yeah, let's go back to the gas station. So yeah, more great use of telekinesis to fight. And I thought they did a really good job. You know, he throws the guy against the car and like knocks shit over on him. And then we don't see him for several seconds, and the other one has a knife and says, let's find the juiciest part of you. Like, fuck. That is such... Jesus Christ. Yeah. And then, you know, he starts... You know, then we see that fire is catching. Thankfully, he burns. They don't burn with him. But very nicely done. You know, we see Damon standing behind. And that's also, like, again, violence should always be the last resort. But if you're up against someone who's got a knife and is saying he wants to find the juiciest part, is a little bit of violence at least is maybe in order. I do feel bad because it's like at the end of the day, like he's possessed by a demon, you know. Yeah, so we have the yeah. The thing is, you know, we didn't see him leave the other guy, but it's like, yeah, I could buy that the other guy had been defeated there, or possibly that he finished him off screen, but he had essentially won the fight. You know, we don't need to see more of the fight or the immediate aftermath. And yeah, burns the guy, collapses. You know, took a lot out of him. Yeah, I think right, and yeah, so Hastings, you know, finds the dead guard. For some reason, some sick fuck scrolled "not a virgin" over that. That was really fucking rude. Yeah, and you know, she goes up to a guard and says, "We have a code yellow." Gets on the radio. Keith is in the building. I repeat, Keith is in the building, and she's getting out like these shit, what's it called? Yeah, certainly she gets out the baton. Yeah, and you know, tells Anna and Anna tells, you know, she says, you know, Hastings doesn't want you to know, but Dad's back. He's got an army. And then we get something that really warms my heart. Victoria asking, how do we kill him? See, like mother, like daughter. Right, now I remember. Okay, here we go. When they're outside, they talk about that there are things about Anna that are from Victoria, like the bullshit detector, you know. She's not all like her father. And by the end of the episode, she says she's nothing like her father. And that again, you know, they brought it up in an earlier episode, so just they're further exploring it. But yes, this is again the theme. Sadly, there are a number of you know, children of abusive parents grow up fearing that they'll become like the abusive parent, that they themselves will hurt people. And it's extremely important to explore that. We can't, you know, there was a while where people just didn't talk about it, and that just made the people who suffer from it suffer in silence, suffer alone, feeling completely isolated, not knowing that other people felt the same fucking way. We have to talk about this shit, even if the Republicans want us to stop. Republican politicians and talking heads and yeah, they really badly want to pretend like problems don't exist. That's why, you know, no more CDC, no more vaccines. Well, that's also because of the anti-vaxxers. God fucking damn, they're going to kill so many people through this negligence. And I mean, all I can really hope for is that it just becomes illegal for an anti-vaxxer, a science denialist, to have a job where they can use that to hurt people. I appreciate that RFK Jr. has gone through a lot. He's had a fucked up life. Not an excuse to kill people. There is no excuse to kill people. Violence last resort. You get it. Yeah, and you know, they talk about, okay, so the skull is really important. Right, I like the detail that it doesn't really say words. It just kind of communicates what it feels that it wants or needs. You know, that, yeah, that's a compelling way to, because like, I don't know what could possibly, if he gave a direct quote from what the skull was saying, would it not feel like a letdown? You know, how do you deliver on something like that? So yeah, that was also so yeah, Code Yellow, you know, all the doors are open, including his the cell doors. I mean, not the not the outside door. That Damon takes care of that later. But Yen, you know, gets out of his room, gets an axe that he swears smiled at him, and it's going to turn out that sometimes dreams come true. But the yeah, I think that brings us nicely to, what the fuck? I swear this chair is going to fucking, there we go. Okay. Fuck. Yeah, he, you know, they talk about, yeah, and eventually also Damon gets there. And the yeah, that was also great when, you know, someone is like thrown and then he's standing there. He got there in time. Yeah, the one who like attacked. Yeah, that was great. One of the possessed decides to play keep away with the keeper skull, and that was also a great bit of, you know, so okay, the stakes are that it's extremely important that they have the keeper skull in their possession so that they can stop Keith. Maybe you should change his name. Oh no, look out, it's Keith. Yeah, I think that does bring us to the yeah, I like the thing with, you know, I am not staying in the car this time. And you know, yeah, when she goes, when Hastings goes with Anna, and you know, yeah, she does struggle a little bit, but she does also manage to help. And yeah, Anna doesn't kill them, but she puts them to sleep, and then she feels like she could run a marathon. So she does like absorb life force at least some of the time. And that was also great because, like, yeah, I mean, we were thinking, did she fucking kill them? Because, like, they're possessed. They're not, you know, bad people. They're people who are possessed. Yeah, I think that does bring us to the part where they are. Yeah, it was great when Yen runs up with the axe, and like, I mean, I felt confident that he didn't use it on the skull itself, but it was still like a really compelling, like, Jesus Christ, he actually fucking, yeah, took an axe to, and the that again feels like, you know, so he's clearly not all the way back to normal, because like earlier he was like, you know, I appreciate that you want to kill all these people, but I have to do the cleanup. And now he's going around killing people without worrying about cleanup. So, you know, he did that under the influence of the skull with the fake axe. And now he's doing it with a very real axe. And yeah, I think that brings us Shit, let's see, what is that? Where do we go from there? Yeah. So all of them are together in a room, and yeah, I loved when Victoria says, "I'm proud of." God, yeah. And also the thing about, I wish Damon had gotten away from this place like you did. And yeah, him, apologizing, and then she's like, "No, I would have died long ago if you hadn't gotten me." Yeah, and I appreciate that there are institutions that are awful. I am not making excuses for those. There are times where institutionalization, committing someone to an institution is the right thing to do. It's just like, try to do what you can to find out if the institution is good, and if not, try to have the patient moved. Yeah. That's, again, we gotta destigmatize, because there's so much fucking media that's like, oh, institutions are all horrible, and yes, they used to be, but there are some that really, really help people, and it's so fucked up that there's still people acting like that's just, they have this image of institutions that's from many decades ago. And part of it is that it keeps being perpetuated in media, and a lot of people have never been to an institution, so they only have media to go off of. I've talked about it before, but Terminator 2, some of the Nightmare on Elm Street movies, I get why those movies do it, but we gotta get away from it. Also, this episode again reiterates, the demons are making non-violent patients who are free to move about violent. Right, I like the bit where she gets a hold on one of the patients, and then Hastings. Yeah, that was what she was getting out of the safe, right? The go to sleep injections, I think it was. But yeah, then we have the let's see. Yeah, and the little CG on her face and hands when when she puts someone to sleep and such. And yeah, one of the patients, Hastings, just has to tell them, go to your room and put on some socks. Because that's, for a number of patients, that is just, that's all that's needed. Yeah, it was really cool seeing the locks, and the thing about, someone locked the door, the building's locked down, but from the outside we're being locked in. So very nicely done. We thought that they were gonna, it's that thing of like, you think I'm locked in here with you. No, you're locked in here with me, and you just brought me my sniper rifle. But the fucking Assault on Precinct 13 up in this motherfucker. Goddamn, I love it. Yeah, I think the right, also the way that they acknowledge, I mean, Mom, please, you don't have to do this. She's, number of parents martyr themselves for their offspring. Yeah. The thing about, what do we just keep Mom locked up? And yeah, they so fucking cool when they go into the she's got Victoria's got the skull. It's knocked out of her hands, and she has to go, crawl under there and get it. And she manages to get it to Anna. And also, we don't need to see. It's just Victoria's holding up. Anna sees it. We can appreciate, okay, yeah, maybe she used telekinesis. Maybe she walked over there. Whatever. She got it. And Damon fighting Keith. Like, Jesus, that was, and again, telekinesis. And I fucking love. So So far, telekinesis has been pretty effective. Sometimes people will fight back. Certainly, when something is thrown directly at someone, usually they get like slowed down by it, and they may be able to get up back afterwards. But Keith just fucking smashes it like Jesus. Just hitting it with his fist, and it's out of there. Just it's fucking gone. That was a really cool way to raise the stakes. You know, there's telekinesis against this guy is not gonna work. The CG was pretty good when he was like melting. Oh, what a world. Yeah, I think that might just about cover. And using the skull for that made a lot of sense. Yeah, goddamn. So the priest is driving away with Mother in the I don't know. I mean, maybe that was the plan all along, get them all in one place and then just capture the one that was easiest to capture. And yeah, she doesn't have power. Let's see. Okay, so the demon inside her has powers, but if that demon is either working with him or just weaker because her physical form is more frail by now than her kids. Yeah. Also really like the thing about, you can't go up against your father. Last time you did, he nearly killed you, I think that pretty well covers everything I wanted to say about the episode. It was really, really cool when she just goes up and fucking shoves the skull into the mouth, which, we've seen a little bit of the mouth in earlier episodes. We know, that's how he, like, absorbs, he's a soul taker. But it was very fucking cool to see. God, it looks so goddamn gnarly with all the teeth. Like, I don't know if dude's got like a Krang inside him, if he's an employee at the titty twister, or if like shit's about to go down in a Antarctic, I think it was, research post. But yeah, that mouth. Holy shit. I don't need to see what that mouth do.